Hey, I love growing cut flowers, and there's nothing better than going out into your garden with a pair of shears and coming back with a bouquet for the kitchen table. No cooking required. I tell you, there's a group of cutting flowers that are labeled just for that we carry at Bloomers. I'm going to rattle off some names here, so get your pens and pencils out. And that, first of all, let's start with ageratum. Now, not the short one. There's a variety called Blue Horizon. It gets anywhere from, say, 24 to 36 inches tall. And it has that same color. And it's one thing, it's deer resistant, so the deer aren't going to come and eat it. And it works great as a cut flower. Amaranthus, Love Lies Bleeding. They get big. They can get up to 5 feet. And they have that cascading, like it's almost like a pipe cleaner kind of flower that's red. Sometimes there are varieties that are pink. I like the red one. The darker color, the better. I actually was at Bartram Gardens and I took a cutting from a plant to grow. Because these kind of things were not available from our annual growers. You know, they weren't going to grow something like that. But finally, one of our growers did, and it's a great plant, and I suggest if you see it, buy it and put it in. Remember, it gets big. Love Lies Bleeding and Amaranthus. Great plant. Great plant. Celosia. Now, this is the coxcomb type. Now, there's the feathery type of celosia, but this is the coxcomb that kind of looks like brain coral. You know, that is the one that I want you to get. That it has a series called Bombay series, and that will get to be 24 to 40 inches tall. So it works works in a cut flower arrangement as opposed to, the short ones that you get most of the time in cell packs. They don't get very tall. Like they only get to maybe 14 inches tall. Now, look for some of the other varieties of celosia, the ones that are more of like the feathery type, that are more like a paintbrush type, some people call them, that will work. But make sure you're checking the labels for the height. If they're small, you kind of want to disregard them. You want something that's going to get to be at least 18 to 24 inches tall so you can actually cut it and use it in your cut flower arrangements. A great plant, and you know how we talk about color, texture, form. This is one that covers both. Cosmos. There's the Versailles mix, 40 inches tall, and they're blush pink, carmine red, deep pink, so there's a mixture of colors. But it has that feathery foliage, so again, it gives you a different texture. And it can be a great filler. And there's also a variety called Pretty Picotee, and that's white flowers with the magenta and pink edges. They're going to get to be about 30 to 36 inches tall. And again, Cosmos, it has that great foliage that it works as, again, a texture that you're looking for. Dianthus, but not like the Dianthus maybe you're used to. These are carnations. And that there's a couple of different varieties. The Amazon series, not that Amazon. This is a variety called Amazon, and that gets to be up to 36 inches tall and has great colors. How about Dusty Miller? Dusty Miller has that silvery foliage that works great in a cut flower. Now, you've got to let them grow tall enough so that you can use them. Don't try to pick them off when they're only 4 inches tall, but they can get to be 10 inches tall. So we're talking about probably late summer before they're going to be ready. Eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is great. And it has obviously that great texture, but also its fragrance is really, really good. Adds to that cut flower arrangement. Gomphrena, it is that there's globe Gomphrena, and that it's also it's going to be globe amaranth. I don't see it often in that only when you're buying it. 18 to 24 inches tall. Great addition. They let the plants get big before you start cutting them back. And then there's different types of grasses, like, for instance, ornamental millet. Ornamental millet looks great. 36 to 48 inches, and there's everything from like a green to like the purple majesty that's really a dark purple that looks great. That's, again, it's going to be one of those accent plants, color, texture, form, that is going to help bring out some of the other flowers when it's against that either chartreuse green or that purple, that deep purple. Lizanthus. I have had good and bad luck with Lizanthus. It's very hard to get. I have not been able to get it yet this year. I've had customers that are coming in asking for it. It is a common cut flower that you'll get in arrangements or you'll see at the florist. But to grow it in our area, you sometimes have challenges. But again, the Grandiflorum ABC series, 36 to 45 inches tall. You want to look for things that are tall. Nicotiana, with flowering tobacco. There are some varieties that get tall enough to be used, 24 inches or so. You can use those. Also, when they're in your garden, they do attract hummingbirds, so keep that in mind. Salvia, big blue. Tall, they want tall salvia, not the short salvia. And again, there's blue and there's also red. Make sure you get the tall ones, not the short ones. Status, great plant for the flowers, for cut flowers. 30 to 35 inches strong, tall, strong stems, perfect. Stock is okay. 24 to 30 inches tall, great scent, but sometimes it takes a while to get there. Sunflowers, ideal. Easy to grow. Just make sure you keep some of the insects off of them. Now there's verbena, not that type of verbena, but there's a verbena that's called Buenos Aires. That gets to be 40 to 50 inches tall and has really nice airy flowers. It doesn't look like, oh, look, that's verbena. It is, but you may not recognize it. And then there's zinnias. You want tall zinnias, cut and come zinnias. There's a giant series, and then, of course, snapdragons, and that they make a great cut flower. If you've got questions, call that hotline, 609-685-1880.